Ladies, gentlemen, and others in chat, welcome to another drawing stream. So we've so wonderfully set up our little routine, we will just dive straight into reviewing Thursday's study notes. So for our ellipses, we're just gonna keep practicing and keep finding that Goldilocks zone of precision and line flowing lines. With straight and curved parallel lines, we also need to keep practicing. We had some good results last time, which was good. Always good with that. Rotation, basic forms, we need to keep on practicing, but we also need some references, and we have the cylinders, which were the ones that I sort of aligned manually, and this is a box reference that I made earlier today using an array. Now these aren't perfect boxes, as you can sort of see. This is not a trick of perspective, it's something that the array modifier apparently does. It deforms the unit that you are, and I couldn't quite figure out how to prevent that from happening, but hey, we have a totally not ominous reference photo or reference image to work from when it comes to rotating forms. Zero ideas. How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. And what else are we gonna do? Manipulating forms, where we're going to do practice some intersection and stacking. We're gonna try to do. We might want to maybe, and also some intersected and bent, maybe scale, maybe let's try a little bit different. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Brush, delete. Let's just take away one of each, and so because I do have in my notes better time management, so instead of doing two of each of those, we are going to do just one of each and trying to be a little bit more accurate in terms of proportions and whatnot. And then we have the mannequin, where we're just gonna keep on practicing scale and continuing with the boxed proportion, or the boxed like just do a boxed frame of the for the pose, and then use that as a reference. And same thing with the silhouette, keep on practicing, but I also noted I see in my notes I have a push to pose question mark. I suppose again the purpose of is not necessarily to blindly and faithfully copy the pose, but also pushing it, exaggerating it, right? So but enough yapping, or I suppose I will be doing some yapping later on, but for now we're just gonna do some ellipses on a straight line. Let's see if we can get this show on a road. So we're gonna start narrow and try to keep them in theory wider and wider until you should also go full not full circle but full go wide and then narrow again, but also another challenge I had was simply getting these to be aligned so that the again, like I said, there's something about a straight line that kind of go like, no, it's supposed to like sit on top of it, and I try subconsciously try to get it to sit on top of the line. That might be it. Might be the reason as to why. But here we are. So, yeah. Tricky. Yeah, I don't. Like it's yeah. Well, we'll put a pin on that and. So another. Maybe not necessarily too obsessed about the results. Maybe that will help. And just treat it as again, a warm-up. Not necessarily something to get too hung up on the ultimate end result here. Holy smokes, depends. Why? It's interesting that the very first line, the first curve that I put down, first parallel curve, is always usually always the worst. I'm not. That might be a clue for something, but I'm not sure what. Let's try. Classic. Didn't have time for the classic S curve. Hooey pants. So. That's okay. Rotating basic forms. So we're going to need some references. And it's 10 minutes. Let's see if we can get this show on a run. Okay, yeah. It's pretty good. Right. Something like that. It needs to be an arch. It's probably too narrow. That. Oh boy. And I might have made way too many boxes. Way too many boxes. But we'll see what we can do. Okay. So we have a box here and it goes inwards like such. Yeah. We have another box which goes inwards like that. And then we have another box. Doesn't maybe it's just maybe it's just because it's too dramatic of a change, maybe. Oh yeah, I'm getting screwed over. Definitely gonna screw over the proportions on this one, but hey, it's the first time I'm doing it, so from a reference anyway. So let's see what we can work out here. kind of like it tilts, you know, like, I don't know. Yeah, again, it's tricky to move things around. 3D space like this? Question mark? Yeah, but again, like it's so very vertical, but as a tangent, tangents are bad, generally speaking, but you know. What can we do? Oh yeah, this is gonna be absolutely horrible, but I suppose the important thing is that we make an effort is being made, and yeah. That is the important part. Don't know why I turned German there for a moment, but you know. It is what it is, I guess. I suppose this one gets wide. Oh my goodness, this is such a butchered attempt. Think of the. Oh well. Yeah, like that is just straight up bad example. That is so bad. Is it gonna? I like the exercise, but like it's just I don't. The closest thing I've ever done to that was like the draw box exercise, but then again you had to draw through them, and you go like you start with a box like this, and then you would sort of like tilt them slightly outwards. And that's kind of what I'm going for, right? And then you go like, oh yeah. And then you would have like the next one. You know, you would see it a little bit more of it. Like that, probably. And, you know, a little bit more. And it would be like something like that, right? And it would have like the bottom floor of that one, and the same thing here. And so the axis then was quote unquote relatively simple. It became very frustrating because you had to draw through the boxes and make them transparent. This is like the back plane of it, but yeah, that is the closest thing that I gotten to doing something like this, and I hated that exercise. It was the first draw box exercise that I really struggled with, and that really screwed me over and go like, oh, I don't know, I need to go back, I don't know this, I need to go back and draw more boxes, which I did. And eventually I nailed it. I didn't like, it wasn't pretty, but like, I got it, you know? I succeeded. Like, yeah, this is, or at the very least, it was like, yeah, it's good enough. But of course, if you don't do that, if you don't continue to practice that exercise, or apply it to some of your work, then guess what? You're not gonna you're not gonna improve, because you're like, oh no, I don't need to. The brain kind of goes like, I don't need to know this. I don't need to practice this. And rotating boxes, as quote unquote easy and simple as it may be, quote unquote, it's doing them in isolation like that is one thing, but doing them in having them like be coherent and fit together, that is something quite difficult. They're very different. Okay, so now we're doing stacking theory, not stacking theories. Well, we're doing that too, but we're doing stacking intersecting and bending forms. Okay. 10 minutes, let's go. See if we can figure this one out. And I might get a little bit too caught up in the perception, but I still need to work somewhat fast and accurate, because I want to get this, to get through all of them, all the exercises. Oh, I'm not good at drawing that angle, so we're just gonna flip the canvas. Hey, would you look at that? All right, let me just draw that, and we have. All right. I suppose it should be possibly even longer. Okay, and then we have a very narrow and tall. Oh my goodness, box. I'll just leave it like that. Why? Is it because, like, seriously, is it because I haven't been drawing for 2 days straight and I'm that rusty? I refuse to believe it. Alright, and then we have this other one, which is very narrow on this side. And wide on this side. Right, something like that. Could probably be shorter, but, you know, whatever. Probably needs to be closer to the other one, so that we can actually get a corner, some corner action here. I'm not entirely, no, that's not enough. It's not nearly enough. I can just cheat a little bit and then just go something like that. And then just Erase away the pizzas that we don't need, like such. All hail the Lord and, our Lord and Savior with take a whole drawing tools. Let's go. Could be somewhat familiar territory. We probably, I think we've done this one before, but that's okay. Space repetition and all that jazz. That needs to be a different angle. That one goes down like that. And then you have that one going out and down, out, over. And then cut it across like such. The rotation of that box is probably wrong, but and this one. It's very uneven. I'm not sure if that's, but you know. And then, boom. Relatively easy. It's rough, but I am on a time limit, so I would like to try and complete all of these. Do we? Oh, dang. Alright. The one that I'm least happy about is this sucker right here. So since we have almost 5 minutes left to go, we can give it a second go. And trying to gauge the angle. Much better. Okay. That kind of checks out, I think. Methinks. That doesn't check out at all. Like such. Doesn't need to go. Oh, just nope. It's not good enough. Move this one over here. The diagonal there, and this, and then a diagonal there. Spend some time, a little bit of time to clean up our illustrations. Oh, not that much. Trim away some of the excess fat. It looks nice and shiny. Yeah, that one should have been bigger, the whole box actually. Oh. now. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna leave that. I'm gonna bother trying to fix it. So I think, again, I suspect things aren't just scale, so yeah. Time management is a bit of a, again, challenge. Alright, let's give it a go, I suppose. Right, so we have something like that. Orientation is wrong, but that one is probably too. That one, the big box here, is probably too parallel with the plank underneath. But it is what it is. Baby steps. It doesn't have to be perfect now. It will be perfect tomorrow, and not necessarily literally tomorrow, but at some point in the future. I've only been doing it for like 2 weeks, the specific exercise, so yeah, I'm probably gonna need some more time to get this going. That was rotation, and now, no. That was manipulating forms, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're 5. Now we're gonna go for the mannequin, right? And the mannequin pose of the day is. You know what? I think we're gonna go for this. We can move him over here since we wanna. I'd like to try this one. Or no. So, let's just do this one. This one here. All right. Sinner. I don't know, something like this, maybe? Question mark. Squish you down and stretch you out of it. Maybe we don't even need to do that. Yeah, pretty good. And we can just do the diagonals this time around, methinks. Paste that over. Lock that layer. Lower the opacity. Insert a new layer. That was just preparation. Now we start a timer. Lower the head, twist the shoulders a bit more, and that will bring a bigger push here, stretch, that disappears. No. No. I don't know. Today it just feels like one of those you're not feeling it kind of days, but we're gonna try anyway, chat. We're allowed to have those days. So, yeah. Shoulders. He's really leaning up. He's really leaning up. Yeah, there we go. So, arm out. Arm over. And arm forward. No, probably arm forward. Forward. Right. Because these two needs to be on a diagonal. Right, feels a burn, but like he's pushing the pose, so he is we have that. We can go in and refine. All right. Really push that angle. Rib cage. Something like that. Right. And then we have almost like the top plane of the pelvis right here. Or not the top plane, front plane, I mean. Front plane of the pelvis. And then you have a huge chunk of the bottom plane. Wow. Alright, so the center line kind of goes like that. But it does feel like he's not like really inching his head. Forward? Yeah, that pushes the pose even further. That's good. Alright, and then chin, so the neck kind of disappears. Stretch there with a pinch there. You don't see the pinch because the chin is in the way. Not that I'm complaining. So I'm probably push this arm. Really ripping that air guitar, which is the instrument that everybody is absolutely awesome at by default. Right, and then the other shoulder is kind of like, I don't know, down here, and then that, and out there like that, and then we have like a box sphere here, and mini sphere there, and then it just goes out over and the other sphere. Yes. I guess something. Yeah. So the stretch is there. Yeah, something like that. Let's now clean stuff up a bit so that things read well. Don't need any of that internal stuff. There's a lot of confusion here. What is in front? What is behind? How are we on time? 2 minutes. Not bad, not bad. And I would say ground perspective is a little maybe. Well, it's definitely that way, but it's a mix of both, because like I noticed that the head is kind of like, whereas here it's like bent forward, whereas mine is kind of like tilted to the side rather than bent straight down. But pushing the pose, I guess. Can we redo the whole head, actually? Kind of bugged me that it was such a, you know, big quote-unquote mistake. The head is, I'm not sure if that no, that head is way too small. Way too small. Something like that, I guess. And you probably don't really see much of a neck. Either. Yeah, you don't see any neck in the reference, so screw that. But now it gets confusing. I mean, there's a lot of energy in it. I'm not entirely sure if that one gets a pass, but we certainly tried. Okay, we need to go up a few brush strokes. Insert, and then there you go. And let's see if we can do something similar, but now with using the silhouette. So we can start with the lower of the head, and then head goes here. Shoulder. Arm. push. It's, yeah. It's one of those things, like, I don't know. It's one of those frustrating things, like, I don't know if I'm doing it correctly, question mark. Details there, and then it goes up in again because that's the hand. Instrument, which is also part of the silhouette. It's almost like maybe I should just focus on pushing the pose when it comes to the mannequin, and not so much with the silhouette. Of course, now I done goofed this one, but you know, for tomorrow's exercise. Curves out again. Okay. And then it goes, stops just so that, and then it goes up to here, roughly speaking, and then it goes up this way. Of course, now I bent down the head, so this one probably needs to be lowered. I'm not really feeling that back foot there, but how are we doing on time? 7 minutes to go. Oh, right. There's also some negative space in his, between both of his arms. So we have this other one here. Things are a bit contorted, something akin like that. Let's just do some quick cross contour lines to give it a sense of volume. Right. No, this way. Or actually, it does go out, and then it goes this way. Might be a totally wrong approach to do it. But Definitely not feeling that one, chat. That was... Oh! My goodness. It's one of those days, I guess. It's one of those days when you have a... Just having a dud. Not that we're giving up or anything, but it's kind of just gotta acknowledge. It's okay to acknowledge that sometimes it's just not your day. I think it is because I quasi-wrecked my sleep schedule yesterday. So, stayed up late, slept in. Those things are now a little bit out of whack. Let's see if we can do better tomorrow, chat. Get your beauty sleep, it's important. Yeah, definitely time again. Yeah, I think we're just gonna skip the whole push pose for the silhouette and instead focus on accuracy, because this is getting ridiculous. And also, yeah. Yeah, things are off, but you know. So excuse me. That might very well be the whatchamacallit, effect of you know, that might also improve the time management simply because of, simply on the merits. I go like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna slow down and take my time with it. Okay, almost done. 1 minute to go. Half a minute to go. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, obviously the head, but obviously the feet aren't that bad. That one is way too low. That one is way. No, actually, but it's probably too far back. And the hand. Yeah, that's too low. Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff going on in that one, but, you know, whatever. So, 10-minute review, let's go. So, I'm stumped. Like, I'm not sure what to do. I know that we're supposed to do this on like on a like it feels like there isn't like a You know what? I'm stumped. Like, I understand what to do, but I don't know where necessarily. So I think we're gonna go and try and get some references for this. Because I am not. The problem I see now is like there isn't a smooth enough gradient going from narrow to wide ellipses. So yeah. We need to solve that. Okay. This one was very good. Like, there are some duds. This one is a dud, or like some missteps here and there, but like I'm on the right track. I would go like with the softer curves. All right, so I'm tempted to say try sharp curves, because I remember that was also a problem. Like, I struggled with the sharper curves like this one here, which was sharp, and I struggled with that, and so I kind of like scaled back and go like, okay, cool. But now that we're sort of like gotten into the groove with the softer curves, here we are. Okay, rotated forms. Let's go. Let's see. All right. Okay, the scale is bonkers, but that's okay. Kind of just okay. The scale on the first one is good, and the orientation of that one. 2. Oh, it's bad. But like I like the idea, but like it doesn't fit the perspective. So they don't like doesn't look like they're lying on the same plane. So yeah, like this one is. I see it now that this back one here is almost like it's tilted upwards rather than. Yeah, because I see. Either that or it's too far away, which kind of might explain why it's smaller than the other. So yeah. But the first one was good, and then it kind of just got worse and worse and worse. So yeah, it's just. But this is just like, yeah, rotated basic forms. Yeah, so pay closer attention. Its proportions, size and position. Say that. Size plus position. And the other one, I'm pretty sure it's a almost complete disaster. Okay. Like, it's not. It's surprisingly. Wow, I did not expect it to be that fitting. I might need to be a little bit bigger. We're trying to match. If you're using this as the master, like, yeah, the proportions are off, but like the general flat perspective, like they kind of line up. Like, there are some big duds here and there, but like the rotation, like, there's definitely room for improvement, don't get me wrong, but the perspective, largely, roughly speaking, kind of, the perspective is like 80% there. And I honestly did not expect that. So, yeah. So the only, yeah, again, like it's placement and box, but like, again, I'm not super happy about this this reference, but it was the best I could do at the top of my head. I might have to do something better here. Okay. Find a better way. See, like I have to look into the array modifier for the boxes, because like I don't want them to be deformed as they are lined there. We should be able to do that. Okay, stacking. Let's see what we got here. Stacking. Holy crap! Again, it's not necessarily okay. Like with some scaling of the reference image, scaling it up, it kind of aligns. But yeah, the rotation of the forms is completely, and the proportions are also kind of like out of whack. But I think like this is the first time I've drawn from stacking boxes from reference, so that might also explain it, the unfamiliarity of it. But like in isolation by itself, it's not necessarily half bad. But like I could have pushed the rotation better for the box and go like try to get it closer to the reference. And this one is also again yeah, it's again kind of like the only thing that I got kind of somewhat got correct is the intersection, which arguably it might be, because depending on who you ask, might be the most important one. Like trying to align that corner, and yeah, again the angles are wrong. But then again, like it's not necessarily, the references are primarily there to help me so that I have something to work out from, rather than blindly, flawlessly replicating. This one isn't that half bad. Like the angle of the tube here, but yeah, I could also get better reference for that. And this one, yeah. But yeah, I could get better references, basically. For I would like to try longer cylinders that are curved, and see if we can do some boxes that are curved and so on and so forth. So yeah. Okay. Better references. Yeah. Wait, what? Did I really push him that? Oh wow. Yeah. Like he's raising his arm higher and stretching out. But yeah, again, when pushing the pose, it is difficult to compare. So again, like, am I making it? Again, it's kind of difficult to see have I made any mistakes, because you end up pushing the pose. And yeah, like again, you're trying to align him into the box and then sliding him over, and the silhouette is arguably lighter, but like I started off wrong by lowering his head because I wanted him to do more heavy duty head banging. and then I chicken out later on. But again, it's not necessarily bad that his shoulders are lowered, because that would also lower the guitar. So again, I would assume that if we align the shoulders, the guitar kind of lines up. Somewhat. Like the guitar that I drew in was a bit bigger. So yeah, but I don't go like... You're supposed to push the pose, but maybe I'm pushing it too hard. Sharper curves. Better references. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's say don't push pose too much on the mannequin, and don't push at all for the silhouette. Don't push pose at all. Let's just see how that goes, right? We have week 4 already lined up. Nice. Yeah. So I am not sure how. When is it? 18th today? Yeah. 18th. I am not sure how. This is a dud. Kind of a duddy day. What we'll do today, or how long today's stream will be. Because if it's something that I know from experience, it's not to push to the point where push to the point of frustration, because you want to end. At least for me, it works much better if I end each drawing session on a positive high note. Because if you have a continuously bad experiences, then you kind of like, you start building up, I don't know what to call it, negative momentum. For the lack of a better term. Paste, there we go. So do we? No. Actually, so I don't know. Well, we can just and if you build up like negative momentum, because like it becomes harder and harder to keep the consistency up, because I go like, I don't want to do the thing because the last memory I have of doing the thing, it's, you know, it was bad terrible. It was a bad experience. So you kind of want to look at that. And it might not necessarily been the brightest idea of me to start tinkering with media server and Linux before stream. That might have taken a lot of might have left me in a bad mood. Can I just transform mirror vertically? No. Mirror vertically, and if I then, oh my goodness, come on. There we go, thank you. No. I don't think I can get you to do what I want you to do. I don't think I can. No, because then you're pointing at whatever. I have it. That's the most important thing. We'll just have to make do with what we have. Alright, so let's see what we can get. I should be doing running. I should be doing running poses, but we're doing this instead. I'm not sure. That might come back and bite me in the ass, but bite me in the butt. But hang on. We have a chunky way to create a outline, but whatever. Right, and then it goes kind of just diagonally out, but it's sort of I would assume that both of these. Yeah, but then it's just, it goes out and then, yeah, we'll just curve. Well, we kind of need, I want to curve them that way, whether they wanted to do that anyway, but, yeah, that inwards curve there. Because if this is like the back side of it, then, yeah. I suppose you might see that dentation even clearer, and then and here it would kind of just be straightforward, and here it would just be again dentation and swishy. Swishy. But they're kind of like they're also kind of pointing away from it. But yeah, let's go making them parallel because it would be, or quote unquote parallel because it is. And then we have like a box here. Right, then we got that negative shape in there, and then we have like a, I don't know, smaller detail over there. That's the handle. Like I draw it like that, but I don't necessarily outline the blades themselves, chat. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. More tired than usual. Yeah, kind of just have to admit that I'm not 20 anymore, so... It's days like these which you kind of go like, you know what, I'm not well, I suppose, like, even if you were like a professional, it's like, yeah, well, it's just gonna have to delay it, but also feels wrong to quote, you know, to go like, nah, I don't want to do it, and go like, why don't you want to do it? Because like, ah, no, I'm not feeling it. You kind of go like, of course, that can happen regardless of your job. That you're not simply not, regardless of what job you're doing, you can still go like, ah, I'm simply just not feeling it, and that's fine. But there's also part of me that's just go like, nah, just power through, and it's like. Oh my goodness. Isn't there like a quote-unquote easier... The next page has that giant stairways perspective thing, which is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. I suppose we could look at this one. Feels like today's stream is just gonna be me prepping, basically. It's not here that I have the article. No, it's I suppose I could return to that page and just do the window part. Yeah, we'll probably be this one then. Because I don't think I have a internal door design set up yet. No. Or I suppose I could go with the exterior door here and keep that as the interior. I suppose. Or I just need this one, I think. That's actually the most exciting. Oh no! Oh no! That's not what I wanted. It's weird because like when you do regular control, because it says here as well, like oh yeah, you paste Control V, but like it's not the same. I'm not sure why. You have to do it from the right-click menu, otherwise with the reference, otherwise it could like. So that's kind of the style. I'm gonna go like, I mean, I know I have bad experience with it in the past of like, dragging and dropping. Dragging and dropping in images from Pinterest, but maybe we should instead look at not too. Some of these store design. What? Some of these store designs are absolutely frickin' wild. I'm like, I don't know, door. What's it? Door design. Let's see if we can get. I don't know. It seemed to be a little bit too. Some of these seem like too elaborate to be interior doors. I can understand like exterior doors, but interior doors, I'm like, what the heckity heckin' heck are they doing going for here? Or maybe it's just me who's stupid because I go like, no, don't. They're supposed to be large, ridiculous, and over the top and bloated, but you could do. We could do something simple, but like just having. Oh, we could do this. That is even. This one is an even simpler design. But do I want them on the outside or do we want them on the inside? Hopefully, this is not going to crash OBS like it did last time. But hold on, let me. There's the other one. Like it's just two variants of it, but You see what I mean? Like, we could use these and one of these as sort of just like a pattern, wooden pattern on the doors. Do they have any fancy Art Deco? Art Deco door handle. Yeah. Of course they have, and of course they are also really elaborate, which is fine. Also, again, cool, but it's gonna be a royal pin. And also, they... Oh. They could just do like a vertical... a vertical handle. But again... This is a... Yeah... Now we have... That is a complete set. Kind of, sort of, almost. Like, again, I don't necessarily need... the most elaborate door setup, but it's also nice to, like, again, finding that it's finding that balance between like what we're like, okay, we have this one as well. Don't die on me, OBS. This is also right, it's fairly simple. You have one big sink in, and then you have, what is it, 3 smaller ones, and they oppose each other in the doors, and then you have the door handle was really high up, but you might want to like lower it, level it to that, because otherwise, yeah, normal door handles are kind of like halfway through, roughly speaking. So we could do that for the door, and this for the hallway. Doesn't matter. Obviously, it's not going to be golden and whatnot, but maybe. I'm not. Yeah, we could do just the horizontal lines, and not necessarily this tapestry stuff, but we could do one vertical in between with lamps like that. We could do that. And we could have I mean, we could also use all 3. We could have this on one side and that on that. Because again, I'm thinking like, I don't know, an apartment complex or something like that. Art Deco apartment building that he's run into. Or maybe it's heck, maybe it is a hotel, but like then again, it would be kind of weird. Why isn't there anybody in the reception? I haven't really thought that much this through, other than he would run indoors, so shoddy world building on my end, I guess. But yeah, then yeah. Yeah. Poor planning on my end, but hey, what can you do? Yeah. I mean, that could work. And Did I bring up the windows over to this page? No, I did not. Which one did I go for? I went for that one. I mean, we could go for this one. I mean, I can just screw it. Let's just bring it over. It's almost a part of me kind of go like, no, don't bring it over because like it's. But yeah, again, it could be cool to just put that in there and have it broken. Oh, and speaking of references, I know I had one pinned. Drawing tips. There was one here where didn't I have one? That's the explosion, but didn't I also have one for I don't think so. But who knows? Maybe if I... What if I pick this one? Do I then get more? I got cities. Letter, but I don't necessarily get... Breathing fire, blah 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 blah. Okay, yeah, I need some overly dominant. Something's missing. Eerie symmetry. Low visual ceiling. Shadow, one big shadow, cropping close detail, low angles. I was thinking more along that's portals. They have more portals. They had one with like breaking glass. I don't know. Fine. Shattered glass. There we go. Boom. That's the one that I wanted. I suppose we can also go... No, not fire. Breaking glasses, that's the same. Oh, it's an extension of it. Because I need to figure out that one too. How to break glass. She's gonna jump straight through the window. Hmm, 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 hmm. It's not exactly the most exciting drawing stream, but me looking through on another window, but for drawing references. But yeah. Oh, by the way, I think I had one. 3D resources, or maybe I didn't. Oh yeah, but I didn't. I didn't render that one out. Because I don't think I can render it out. No camera. Camera. All right, you should be sleeping. All right. Well, I mean, I'm not your dad, so if you don't want to sleep, you do you, buddy. Welcome to the stream, by the way. What issue did I have last time? I honestly can't remember. Oh, VLC. Well, it's, I mean, it does work, with the, I think I have. Yeah, I have, this 3020 version. Basically, I duct taped, made my own duct tape solution instead of using the plugin that's the OBS plugin that somebody else had. Let's see if I well, that is overly dark. Shift A. Let's add some sunlight to the zine and why? How does that look? I mean, it's not much, but probably we strengthen that by. Okay. That below. Where is the sun relative to her? I mean, we could. Yeah, you know, it's a struggling. But you know, can't let Skynet win. Shooting pose. PNG. There we go. I don't think we need to save that. Let's see. Where is it? Where did I put it? There we go. No. This is the one. Reference. There we go. No, it's not exactly much of a. Not exactly Kyle Reese by any stretch of the imagination, or John Connor, but you know, hey, here we are. Oh, she strikes a pose. like that. The titular bullet witch. And Pooey Pants. She's holding them. Well, I'll fix that later. So, is this the only one that I have open? Oh, okay. Yeah. So, horse dude. Picks up the maybe second panel sketch. To show that, because it's leaning that way, so then the ground should, in theory, again, in theory, we go to the, oh, hello. Hello. Oh. There we go. Now, so many buttons, so we could just tilt the ground like such. And have some overlapping. What inspires me the most? I'm not entirely sure. As weird as that sounds. I've always had fascination with media that I consume, that they that are characters, or maybe even an entire media franchise that is sort of like goes unnoticed or unappreciated by the mainstream or even canon within the fandom. Like, I kind of like, oh yeah, look at this one character that kind of just was there for one episode, and I'm like, that was a cool character, I would like to see more of that. And that has been a long drive for me to sort of pursue creative pursuits. If that makes sense. I guess I don't like seeing untapped potential that hasn't been fully tapped. Go like, no, let's unpack that and find out. Does that make sense? What the heck is going on this one? All right. Oh yeah, that's button mashing panel. I suppose we could work a little bit on that. Yeah, well, as the saying, yeah, I totally get that. It is, it is quite the time investment, no matter how you slice and dice it. It's time plus effort to get results. Granted, like, you don't necessarily have to sit there for like hours on end every single day, but consistency is the key. But yeah, if you don't have that time, you don't have those an hour or two or something like that, you kind of just have to go like, oh, cool. You have to sort of make peace with, I can get better, but it's going to take a much longer time in total, because the unit that I sort of invest is lower. Right, I only have 20 minutes a day, and that's not 2 hours a day, so that gosh darn math. Has this one thing died on me? Or is it just... But then again, on the other hand, so it's not a time issue. The peace of mind, yeah. Yeah. I don't really have much of a remedy for that. Either you want it, or you want it bad enough that you pursue it, or you don't. But then again, you don't necessarily you don't have to do all the courses or all the things. You could just doodling on your own time is perfectly fine. Like, there are so many options that you can pursue that are perfectly fine and perfectly valid. Like, I sometimes just doodle at work. With the trusty post-it note. I have some post-it note, and I just doodle on that, and sometimes that's all you need. But yeah. Well, and properly. Yeah, well, I've always, again, imposter syndrome as well, because like I've been at it since, I think we mentioned this last time, but I've been at this since 2017, and only person now I kind of like, oh yeah, maybe I should start using the things that I learned to actually make something, not just sit on my ass and draw 10,000 boxes a day every day, because, you know, it was always the fear of, for the longest time I had the fear of like, well, I'm not good enough. Let's go like, no shit, Sherlock. I'm not good enough. Nobody's born a blacksmith and all of that jazz, so... I still feel like, no, to this day, I go like, I should have been, given how much time and effort I put into it, I go like, I should be better. I should have been further down the road or whatever, but... We're all... Yeah. It's a big reason why I started this project. It's not going to be pretty or perfect. You kind of have to like put that aside and go like, the purpose of the project is to A, finish it, and the purpose is to learn, to find my way along the stuff. So there's a lot of fumbling and bumbling around, but you kind of go like, you know what, I'm quote unquote done drawing boxes and doing, should probably do 10,000 studies of horses before even considering putting it into a comic, but here I am putting a dude on a horse. Never drawn a horse, or I had drawn a little bit of a horse. What is it now? 3 years ago? I think so. Yeah. Project-based learning. It's the way to go. There's this art YouTuber, Broken Draws. He made a list of like 25 like exercises that one could do, but he stressed that to like improve your drawing, but he stressed to go like, this isn't something that you're supposed to grind. It is, you try to draw something and you find out where did you screw up and refer to those 25 exercises and go like, all right, my drawing is flat, doesn't have that three-dimensionality into it. Okay, then you need to practice your boxes and your cylinders. And then, so treat it as nothing to grind, but as a medicine. You go like, you sort of try to draw a horse or whatever, and then you diagnose as best as you can, and then you go like, you practice those exercises for a while, you try again, rinse and repeat. It kind of opened my eyes a little bit and just got like, oh yeah, find a mistake, and also don't be afraid of using whatever tools you have or need to, like references, perspective rulers, what have you. Right. Speaking of references, I need Pinterest, my beloved. What did I have in? That was under drawing tips. Yeah. But like doing like the whole cringe part is like, if there's any comfort, like I spent almost a decade before I sort of built up the mental, emotional fortitude of like, oh yeah, now I can do that. There are people out there who can just go like, I suppose that is the advantage that children have, because like they don't necessarily have that same kind of critical thinking. So they kind of just dive in and they don't care not necessarily about that much about the results. But us adults are kind of like, oh no, it's supposed to be like a hand. It's supposed to look like that, and then you sort of mess up. There's another example of something I haven't really done, but something that I really enjoy, these sort of blurry speed lines. So I haven't done it before. It's gonna turn out crap, but this, I already know this, my illness, lack of experience, so we have a medicine for it. But even though I have the answer and I might understand it like on a theoretical level, the practical skill comes from mileage, and that is a very tough pill to swallow. First line is essential for drawing movements if you experience. Kind of goes into the hatching thing. But I had another example in my... Where is it? There it is. I probably should. All the references. There we go. So yeah. Let's see what we can do here. Organize ourselves. The blur. Because he's going to be... And of course I need to draw a hand, which is super easy to do. Yeah. My day job is within IT, so you can imagine like really ingrained into me like the rigid logic. Either it works or it doesn't. And it is something that I struggle with, because like you're supposed to like push and exaggerate the pose of the character relative to the reference, but a part of my brain kind of go like, no, it has to be exactly like the reference, but I don't want to. That is sort of like quote unquote the correct, that is the answer, like 2 + 2 = 4. But according to drawing, you're supposed to go for that 4.4 or 3.7, something like, you're supposed to like be a little bit off, because that gives the drawing its soul, for the lack of a better term, I suppose. And if you want to faithfully one-to-one replicate this hallway, then I should have picked up photography. So there's always this tug and pull of being faithful to the reference as opposed to also interpreting the reference. Yeah. Like, even, like, I get that. I don't necessarily have much, like, again, like, it's just societal and cultural thing as well. So a lot of that is internalized, and I go like, I'm crap because I can't make this thing look as good as I want it to do. So yeah, that also sucks. All right, so I suppose I could use this hand as a reference, but I just need to stretch out the pointy finger. But my dude doesn't have wristbands, so yeah, why not? So that means let's just sketch out. Yeah, let's see if we can get. Maybe it would help if I had some ink on my brush and not just an empty eraser. But yeah. Oh yeah, medicine, like holy smokesy pants. Talk about pressure. That would be. People's health and lives at stake, so yeah, dang. Opposing curves. Try and think of imposing curves. Opposing, not imposing, but opposing. And yeah, you're absolutely right, which is a good reason to have it up. Like, even if you're just doodling, there's something to be said of like that you have that duality, that yin yang actions, so that you can be creative. Hang on, that needs to go this way. That you can be creative and not necessarily too stuck in 2 + 2 has to be 4 rigid mindset. Even in the sketch stage, I'm chasing pixels. God darn it, my perfectionist brain. I really don't like it. And this is gonna be a absolutely horrible finger, but you know, not only is it gonna be a horrible finger, it's actually wrong because no, hang on. I just remembered. It is the fingernail that curves downwards. And then we have an opposing curve, which goes up. And then it goes down again. That's a terrible line. And if it's a terrible line, I'm a terrible person, or something to that. Well, at least what some corner of my brain tries to tell me, but you know, we don't have to listen to that part of the brain. One, two, three, knuckle. I think. Yeah. Anatomy checks out. That is one pointy finger. And like, since it's, can we make this flow a little bit better maybe? Uh, curves and straights. So, okay, let's try that. That's another classic. Curves and straights. Nope. Let's try this and size. That looks bloated, not gonna lie. I should just get a reference for this as well. The big reference hunt of 2026. That's way too big. That does not look the part at all. Ants are notoriously hard to draw. And this is just the... and pointing. Pointing to the side, maybe? Profile view? I mean, it kinda... Not exactly what I wanted, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Chasing after the perfect reference is not going to get me anywhere. This is going to be... Whee! Pointy point, stabby stab. Let's just drag it away. But these are lady hands, but it's a dude. He has lady hands, but who knows? Maybe maybe nobody will notice if we just add a metric ton worth of speed lines on it. I don't know. It's kind of okay. Yeah, it kind of fits this one. So it kind of just like opposing curves kind of goes up and then out. Just erase a little bit. Right? Something like that. buddy. That is. It looks wrong, but it's also kind of on point, proportion-wise. Okay. Let's just nope. Actually, want it to be thinner towards there. And then we want to well, oh. So difficult to get it to look. Whatever. It's just. Screw it. It's just a sketch. Just a sketch. Let it go. And we have some kind of like here, I guess. Turning of the form, we have that. And maybe this one goes a little bit further into better. Okay, well, looks kind of like a thumb. And we have the pad here. Why did I do that? Why did I decide to put a hand close up of a hand? Not one hand, but multiple hands, because of course he's frantically pushing the elevator button. So if it's straight there, it's a little bit fluffy on that side, right? And we don't necessarily want. Is it? No, that one overlaps. Ow. This is the one that overlaps. I'm the one that overlaps. Okay. That means we can go and like that. Probably need to rotate you just a smidge. And you probably don't overlap that much, buddy pal. Doesn't really matter too much. It's a sketch, let it go. And what is that like? worst of all, a lot of these details are kind of just gonna disappear in the blur, but you know. That one disappears. And that line, and then we have another line kind of with the other finger way in the back here. Right, and this horrible line here needs to be trimmed down pretty badly. Like, oh my god. Looks so bubbly, but it's just a sketch. It's just a sketch. It looks like a glove that, like one of those doctor gloves, and kind of like inflated it. I hate this so much, but you know, avoiding it is not necessarily the ideal course of action either. Just keep running away from your weaknesses. They're just gonna... Oh. That's not gonna end well for you, is it? So, here we are. That does not look like a dude's hand, but... hardly looks like a hand at all, but hey... kind of curious how Okay, like, obviously I need to scale the reference down a little, quite a bit. Like, the annoying part is, like, I am kind of somewhat on point, and it still looks like crap. Like, I'm not necessarily off by much. Oh, but I don't know, it's still... it lacks structure. Lacks everything. Go like, yeah, just draw it in. I think that's too lax. Yeah, it needs, or it kind of goes like that. So we could use that to sort of like describe the line that goes like that, and from that we have another line which goes much sharper down like that. It just it's like a certified thanks I hate it moment, but you know. Oh, that's not what I wanted. at all. Alright, that does something for it. Oh, great. Now I drag that one with me. Of course I did. Well. Oh, well. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Will this look better if I just do a whole bunch of rapid lines around this sucker? Let's try. Let's give it a go, chat. Of course, we're looking at it practically in profile, so let's just do something like this. Get rid of that. Will it give it a better sense of volume if we do that? Kind of, a little bit, but there's that one. Sure, why not? Then I need to do the hatching. Let's see what we can do here. This other. Let's give this sucker another go, I guess. Let's see. Down, up, down. here. Hereabouts. And, or I suppose we could just turn that into one big curve. Directionality. Okay, like parts of this hand is growing on me. Oh, trust the process, I guess. Remember, kids, trust the process. We have that curve there, like that. Let's see if we just lock the sketch layer, because I don't want to ruin that hand. That low-key kind of turned out okay. Like that. Something like that. That's that little swishy thing there, and then maybe it's because I'm not thinking about. Probably because I'm not thinking about structure enough. Things are turning to crap when I'm reliant way too much on putting too much trust in the original shitty thumbnail thing. There we go. Thanks, I hate it. I kind of like that little angle there. How the heck did I get that? That little bump there. Sometimes it feels like drawing is just a freaking gotcha. It's like, oh yeah. That one thing that you successfully did there, well, you can't replicate that. You have no idea what the heck you did. Yeah, isn't that fun? Okay, now we're cooking with gas. I kind of just want to curve it ever so slightly. He says as he curves it way too much. Okay, well, I can work with that. I can work with that. I can work with that, chat. I just need to pass that straight. Maybe that was a bit on the slim side. Something like, yeah, a little bit like that, yeah. And then we need a good curve inwards because thumb. And then we need okay. That not too horrible. I think we can do like that. turning up the form. And then I guess we can just can we be so bold, chat? And maybe we need to squish this one down a little bit, like. And then maybe we can just squish this one. Just simplify it by just having a line back here for the, and a line up here for the very thin line, like that. Those are some nasty, horrible hands, but just a sketch, just a sketch. Trying to, this one is coming from a slightly different angle. So we're gonna flatten the cross contour lines. I suppose we could even have these two kind of merge. Get that snaky action. Snaky action. I don't know. No. Soften those lines up a little bit. All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's separated enough from the other hand that we can sort of go like. Okay. Let's see if we can get this. Really. Pulling just for visual interest. I'm kind of thinking okay, that I gotta remember that it's just thirds, right? So I don't kind of like almost like he's pulling. Pulling his finger away from it? Does that make sense at all, or am I cooked, chat? That is the big question. I need a smaller brush head. just noticed I need a smaller brush head. It's really bold. If that's that, then you need another one that goes diagonal. As hard as hands are to draw, it's kind of handy. You usually have one readily available to pose for you. Which is always nice. Let's just do a little bit of this. I don't know. Ah, boy. No, I don't think that. Not sure if that works. I'm not sure if that works. Get away with it. Let's take a step back and have a look at the panel, or page, I suppose, as a whole. Yeah. Where am I? Here's my... Like, I do like that gestural flow into it, and then kind of... Maybe... this one could also probably benefit from, like, just one tapering, exaggerated thing going on. Not worry so much about all of the little bumps and lumps in there. It works from a distance. It looks terrible up close, but it kind of works from a distance. If we're gonna blur everything to Kingdom Come anyway with speed lines, then oh, right. Speech bubble, where are you? There we are. I suppose we could fiddle around a little bit with this one. Look, there we go. And shrink up. I'm trying to think of like you. Ding ding. Crowd noise is trying to make noise in a crowd of two. Well, two is a crowd, so you're making the noise. Let me in. Like you're thinking, like, oh, he is looking up that. Let me in. I don't want to be stabbed by the mad horse rider. Should that one have it? There are like some quote-unquote rules for speech bubbles on how the tail of the speech bubble is. Like if they're on panel or off panel. Come on, come on, come on, come on. It's not necessarily such a bad idea to start thinking in terms of speech bubbles, because oh, that's a chunky speech bubble. That's a chunky boy. We could have it down here, maybe. Ding, ding. Rotate it, so that, and then just place it like that. Boom. Something like that. I don't think we're gonna have anything special in. Not saying anything, more along like he will just, I don't know, like some sort of sound effect, as he sort of yanks his. Do I have that here? No, I don't have that here. Where do I have? I need. That's a lot of references I brought in on this page, but hey. That's what the pros are doing, so if it's good enough for the pros, then it certainly is good enough for me. Let's see, reference. Oh, Hui Pence. Copy. And this is page 3. And paste. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Hey! I suppose I could clear up the references as I'm done with them, but... Meh. Okay, so that's that page. There's this page, which all right. And then there's this page. Yeah. Kinda happy with the panel layout here. So but looking at the time, I've been at this for close to 3 hours, chat, and it wasn't really. We're off for a rough start, so it's just one of those days, chat, where I don't quite have it in me to keep trucking. A rough start, but we kind of picked up, and we got some visitors in the chat, which is also nice. Right. Which basically means we will pick up the thread on Monday. That is tomorrow, 6 p.m. as usual. So, until then, keep drawing, keep having fun, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.